what I'm saying is, it's like, no, man, like we got to do better at this.
Absolutely.
This is terrible.
And the bad part is, you think we need to do better for ourselves, which we do, but we actually need to help people actually see value in our content, like tremendously.
So. Welcome to another episode of the Hidden Opportunity Podcast. I'm Trevor Jackson with your host,
Join the Warrior of Warrior Capital.
Jay, what's the word, man?
Not too much, man. Trying to get this podcast right for people.
So, there are a few things that came to my attention as you can't look at the level. It is going to record or it's not going to record, brother. You should know you had the headphones in. I don't have no headphones.
That's why I'm looking, because now it's my responsibility.
It's your responsibility.
You took the headphones off, and all of a sudden it's my
live.
responsibility.
Charlamagne, we live. We live. All right, so we have Jay comes over. We shoot at my crib. Jay come over, and we sit and we talk for way longer than we shoot, which is part of the problem. And
we just hung out for like a whole hour and a half.
2 hours. And we're shooting this podcast. And so in shooting this pod, we don't really have a subject or a predicate. We just kind of shoot this thing. We just go. And that's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing for everyone because we don't talk about anything consistently over time. And I like that. And we might continue to do that. But we would like to know, leave a comment below or a DM or a message, and let us know what you want to hear. What you want to hear from us. What do you want to hear us talk about on a consistent basis? And we'll listen. We'll make that out to you. One thing me and Jay haven't done over the course of our lives is we've had a lot of success in life without utilizing social media in any capacity. We don't utilize the thing that can help us the most. Mm-hmm. We kind of just go along life, working hard, and not leveraging these digital coins, so to speak. And I believe, and the conversation we were having beforehand is if we put ourselves down in the game at times because we don't utilize the mediums in which we have. I was doing a live yesterday with Mr. Wilkins, a good friend of mine that I work with daily and do some development work with. And we were talking about Jay-Z. Mm-hmm. And I was like, they always talk about how Jay-Z is such a mystery, but from the time Reasonable Doubt came out till Blueprint 3, he was on one big press run. The man was on the Chitlin circuit.
Oh, big time.
In Mississippi, in the backwoods of southern towns where he wasn't welcome. He was everywhere.
While getting an education, taking a internship at the record label. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's everything that, these people like Jay did. Like DMX came out with 3 albums in 18 months. He's constantly feeding the algorithm. And yes, the algorithm has changed and evolved and there's different platforms. But don't get it twisted. If those talented rappers had these platforms back then, they would be utilizing them, and mm-hmm. they'd be feeding the machine and having the same quality,
work ethic,
but at more volume. And mm-hmm. I think that I've always said this. I think quality content at volume equals success.
Yes.
And when you hear people like Alex Hormozzi or was it Him 500 and Gary Vee and and all these different influencers and business people, and they're putting out 65 pieces of content a day on every medium possible, mm-hmm. from Tumblr to Twitch to Pinterest to YouTube to IG to Twitter, mm-hmm. and I'm sitting here struggling to get one up every 2 weeks. I gotta look myself in the mirror. Jordan, a warrior of a warrior capital. I have to look myself in the mirror to hold myself accountable and
Absolutely.
go, why is this guy able to give away free e-courses that are worth $2,000 mm-hmm. For free for the cost of shipping? And for the cost of shipping
while running 5 other companies,
and other people's companies, mm-hmm. and consulting,
wife and kids,
and I can't get up one piece every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's a problem.
Which a lot of people have.
But I don't care about them right now.
Okay.
We're holding ourselves accountable.
Talk about it.
We're holding ourselves accountable to our audience.
Talk about
because
it.
we, quite frankly, we don't put out enough goddamn content.
Very true.
For them to consume. We don't post on our page. You wouldn't know we had a podcast on our page, Jordan. I haven't posted about our podcast since Master P.
Weeks.
No, weeks, months. Like 3 months. This is bad.
Oh,
so we're opening up and we're just holding ourselves accountable to our audience because, quite frankly, we don't do enough. Yeah, we do think dope things in real life. I get it. But I need to bring my real life to this digital life because there's going to be more money there. I got to get my paper popping.
It's crazy to where Trev looked me in the eye. He's like, you've been in so many places the last 6 weeks, Jordan. He was like, you done spoke at
everywhere. You done spoke in front of everybody.
Been in some of
the best places. I'm not gonna talk about where you've been, but you had a good time.
And you wouldn't know. Don't post it. Don't talk about it. And as much as that's totally reflective of our personalities, it's also why we're not growing.
We're not drug dealers.
People exactly, but people want to see us.
For sure. It's like, look, we need to start making content on this hoodie that I've wore 175 times on this podcast. You don't even know what episode is any episodes anymore because this is my 37th time in the past year and a half wearing the same goddamn Knicks hoodie. It's getting more flakier every time.
This is vintage at this point.
Yeah, it's vintage. I like that. It's great. It's vintage Knicks. I come in this damn thing, no haircut, pimple right here. Zoom in, Marissa. Right here. It's right here. Pimple's right here. So, what I'm saying is, it's like, no, man, like, we got to do better at this. Absolutely. This is terrible.
And the bad part is, you think we need to do better for ourselves, which we do, but we actually need to help people actually see value in our content, like, tremendously.
So, when we talk about the hidden opportunity, we do the spiel, but it's like, okay, we created this podcast at a time where we had time. Okay,
pandemic. Life was a lot different.
We were coming out of the pandemic. We were kind of semi in the pandemic still, and we had time to actually sit down and do this. But we remember the first day I tried to sit down and tried to figure out how to say the name, the hidden opportunity, because it was.
When you botched it 12 times.
70.
Cool.
It might have been 27 times. It was called the hidden opportunity. I'd be like, welcome to the hidden within, the opportunity within,
the new opportunity,
what? And Jay was like, yo, bro, stop this. And rest in peace. Our homie came through. As soon as I started to really figure it out, he came through and he goes like, yo, come outside, look at my new car. But it's called the hidden opportunity, man, because we kind of sat down. It was upstairs. We sat down and we said, okay, we have to have conversations because everyone's kind of looking for the answers, but they really don't understand that they're the answer. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to get my finances right. Well,
you have to make changes.
Your finances.
You have to do something.
Just open up the app and see where your money's being spent. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I want to stop eating out as much. Okay.
Well, look at what you're eating.
Look at what you're eating.
Maybe
you can eat out the same but budget different. And that's really where it started. And we've never talked about you being a financial advisor, which we'll talk about from there in future episodes. And we're also going to kind of break down in the coming months and in later September and October and November, one time a month, we're going to break down the strategies and mechanics of success from other people, whether it be from 50 Cent to Ray Dalio to Dipset to
Alex Armazi.
We're going to break down specific people and really where their hidden opportunity was within themselves of success. That's what this is going to evolve into. Jay is going to start talking more about, there's going to be certain episodes for certain things. So Jay's going to talk more about the markets and finance, and we're going to really be
a little more structured. A little bit more structured, and knowledge,
but still continue to be unstructured. Because I don't look. This is a getaway for us.
Yes, that's what
this is a getaway for us because we do work hard, and this is something that we would do
for free,
for free,
which we are
doing
for free. We're actually losing money.
So we would actually like to make money by putting out more content, and it comes with. But then when you have to have that you have to have the conversations with your business partners on, okay, how are we going to make money? 2, what are the roles that everyone has in getting the paper?
Mm-hmm.
Like what are the roles?
Said business construct.
Yeah, because there's been times where I've put the money for the podcast, and there's been times where he's put the money for the podcast. But during that times, there's been different roles. There's been times, like the first 3 months of the year, I didn't even look at this thing. And Jay was just like, "Hey, bro, we have a podcast." And I was just like, "Oh yeah, all right, cool." And vice versa. But how we started was I bought all the equipment and said we're doing the podcast, and we started, and I was the main person in that, and it's swayed throughout. But a big influence for us has been Cameron and Mace, watching them do it. They put their money where their mouth was. Mm-hmm. When you break down the hidden opportunity within,
hold on, so take a step back. What did Cameron and Mace did that you
started a sports podcast?
Okay,
they talk wild, but it's not wild because
that's how they speak.
That's how they speak, and that's where they're from, and that's exactly who they're aiming for. They're aiming for
that target
people in Harlem and the Bronx that come from where they come
barbershop
from.
Barbershop talk, basketball,
but they're talking
on West 4th Street.
Yeah, they're talking like how we would talk at the Mac or at Rucker Park or Dykeman. That's how they're talking.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So at that point, you say to yourself, when you hear them talk about the hidden opportunity, they put their money where their mouth was. Mm-hmm. I think that Cam
just got a contract for what?
For 8 figures. They signed an 8-figure
Always,
deal.
we're looking for new ways for us to grow and give our listeners the hidden opportunity. So our partners at the Languages of Money e-course has given us an exclusive 25% off to their flagship financial literacy e-course that gives you gems on credit, debt, money, and the whole 9. So go to thelanguagesofmoney.com, use the discount code The Hidden Opportunity, and keep growing with us.
250 in, 250 in. And Mace put a substantial amount too. I think he matched him, but I'm not sure. And they went in and they created something special. That's like they created something that no one's ever created before at the scale in which they created it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And they bet on themselves, and right immediately after they got the result because it's fresh, mm-hmm. It's new. Quite frankly, the reason why we don't talk about finance in a way like. Because other people do it. There's people that
plethora of people that's just talking about it.
Plethora of people that do it. So we kind of this podcast is the intersection of finance and culture. That's what this is. I'm not going to sit here and we're not going to talk about dividends and budgeting the whole time.
Even though we can and we will, and we'll
and we're not going to sit here and talk about 50 Cent and Drake all the time, even though we can. It's going to be a mixture of both. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes I'm going to get on here and just talk and give you stories because, frankly, that's what I'm great at. That's what we're going to do. But our goal is to be that intersection of finance and culture.
And entrepreneurship.
And entrepreneurship.
Big thing is entrepreneurship.
And get everybody to understand that in order to, you don't really have to find something. You just have to find yourself mm-hmm. and what you want to do. Our screen went black again because I forgot to set the timer. That is the goal here. Our goal isn't to lecture you guys and bore the hell out of you guys. It's only entertainment.
That's literally the balancing act for us. It's like, how do I, Jordan, actually, take that financial advisor hat on and try to give some knowledge, but then also not be so boring or redundant.
It's like there's a hole in my pants right now.
That was a left turn. That's crazy.
That's why I'm crossing my legs.
That's crazy. Why you itching and shaking?
No.
Moving all crazy.
Crossing my legs, so I don't want them to see.
Okay,
no
you just
Kanye.
Highlighted. Okay,
so
I see.
Trying not to.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
But in terms of entrepreneurship, and business, that's wild. The construct is to give you the duality of learning while still having a little bit of fun. But for us, we're gonna have to talk about the money a little bit more, especially as we get close to Q4. And
we're a day away.
Before you guys know it, the year is going to be over. People are going to have those new years, new me, and we feel about that. if you need to make a change, if you're trying.
So I'm stopping right here. So I was having a conversation with a young lady I know that I'm actually going to say her name, Chelsea Blanchfield, and we were it was wild, wasn't it?
That's
I did it.
crazy.
That's the entertainment side. That's the entertainment side of it.
That's crazy.
So I was having a conversation with her. I saw her at Target around the corner, and I was buying dry erase markers on a Friday or Saturday night, and she was like, "What are you doing buying dry erase markers?" I said, September, the month of September is my month of December, because it's really, this is like, if you start your new year in September and you do October, November, December as your new year, by the time you get to January, you're way ahead of everybody.
Yeah,
so I'm planning for the year. I'm planning for 2024 because people are going to start in January and stop. I've never stopped my New Year's resolution. I've never stopped from last year. I'm still going.
Of course, yeah.
You know, need to be more consistent in the gym. I apologize. But I've never stopped. So I was like, yo, Chelsea, like, this is something that I live by. Like, we played ball in college. Around from August, from the middle of August to beginning of October, it was hell.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was hell.
No,
It was
pre-season.
absolute hell.
They're trying to break you.
Yes. So that's what we're doing. So it was my new year. School in New York starts in September. Like, there's all these things that happen at the end of August and September that really signifies a new year. Like, it really, the changing of, from New York
Seasons,
as well, the changing
the
the season, like, we change seasons, the change of the colors and the leaves. Like,
Literally schools, how people are moving.
Exactly. Like, you start to see, like,
Traffic starts to pick up. The train starts to get busy again.
100%.
You know what I mean?
So that new year, new me starts in the month of September because I want to have my plan for the new year. I want December to just be a bunch of,
Christmas, holiday,
good times.
hot chocolate. Toast. Listen, man.
Hey, I don't know what his.
Shout out to my brother Mark, because he really put the battery in the back for the Christmas
He
season.
has to join this podcast.
In due time.
Nah,
In
man.
due time.
Because he should be a reoccurring guest yearly.
No.
Like Mitch.
Absolutely. No. Not.
What?
Absolutely, Mitch.
Yo, Julian Mitchell's a goat out here.
That's what I'm saying. Absolutely.
What do you mean? I want Mitch on a year, all year, like once a year.
I could see
LZ,
that. Absolutely.
once a year.
Absolutely.
No, but you can't talk about things, right? We don't want to talk about things. We want to be about things. We want to actually grow this thing because it's something that we believe in. It's something that we enjoy
appreciate
doing.
y'all feedback too, because y'all feedback
yeah.
has definitely pushed us over the top. Like the genuine feedback we get when we walk around and people show love, it's amazing. It's amazing to actually know that people got some knowledge. It's really dope. So expanding on the podcast.
You have Lily on again too.
Who?
Lily.
Yes. Have people who could give knowledge from lawyers, attorneys. Even I dropped the ball. I haven't even tapped in with the accountant that I work with because she could give some tremendous tips on taxes. But point is that we're rededicating ourselves to the pod.
We're rebranding, and it's going to take some time for you guys to see the actual rebrand. But we are rebranding, and this is just us talking, and you'll see.
Accountability.
At the end of September into October, and definitely 100%. Nothing changed going into the new year. We're going to quit. But you'll see definitely going into that January time that this is they're serious about their craft and they're serious about their content and what they're doing, and that this is something that they're going to do for a while, and
So with that said, because at the end of the day, everything is to actually correlate these stories in this conversation back into actual value for you. It's September. It's about to be September, a week away.
Let's don't give all the content away. We have another episode where we can give that content.
Well, we're going to talk about it regardless. We're going to give just shout out to your man. So you're talking about give it away. Ammo, clips, give it away free every time. It's time. Timing, plan it out. Be proactive. If you're looking to get things done for January, start now. If you're looking to scale a business, make money, you're not going to wake up tomorrow, the idea is going to come to fruition, and then it's going to execute and be daisies and roses. No. You need to start putting that thing in place Now, it's going to take 3 to 6 months to actually start to create some momentum behind it. Actually market. Jordan and Trev talk to ourselves, right? But to everybody listening, because I know a lot of people out there that's just like ourselves who are really private, don't necessarily want to go through the scrutiny of social media, because let's call it what it is. When you put something out and it falls on deaf ears, you get no likes. So when you put something out and you're just, looking at it for this, that, or the third because you're judging yourself harsher than anybody else would, it's a hard game to play. But at the end of the day, if you decided you wanted to be an entrepreneur, mind you, this is for just the entrepreneur side, because if you use social media just for personal use, like a lot of people do, this is highly irrelevant. But if you're trying to create a brand, if you're trying to create a company, you need to do the basic aspect of a company, which is market.
Post.
It's a couple parts of a company you can never get away from. First things first is your product and your service. That's what you offer, right? Your product and your service. Second thing is the actual financials behind it, knowing how much money's coming in, how much going out, the bookkeeping, the taxes, the compliance, right? So then you have the legal side, which is compliance, protection, all that stuff. Then you have your HR. That's hiring people, making sure all the back end's right. Then you have the actual marketing, getting leads, whether it's hand-to-hand combat. And when I say hand-to-hand combat, I mean actually going out there, shaking hands, kissing babies, networking, meeting some people, or the digital side, which is actually utilizing social media, having a website, maybe running ads. What's your ad campaign?
Well, a lot of it can be done so. I agree with Jay 100%. Not changing anything he said. The one thing I will say is there's the ad, there's a paid ad side, and then there's also just being a monster with posting and being meticulous with commenting and liking and saving posts and sharing and doing that and doing it organically, because it's a real thing. For people like us that are extremely busy during the day and have a lot of things going on, you can skip the mark a little bit. But if you just spin it around, if you just spin it around, you do this every episode. You do this every episode.
Get faulty equipment.
No, I don't.
And you set me up for failure.
You spin it around, Jay.
Why is the mic drifting away from me anyway?
Spin the stand around. Am I still?
How much money we put into this podcast?
It's actually an expensive stand. To not just spin the stand around, it'll be fine. It will stay. Did it stay?
No.
Yes. Yes.
So why did you should have had it like that when I came here? When I came here, it should have been like that.
All right. Anyway, so what was that? God, it's just like, well, you sit down. You see, when I sit down, I'm in the perfect spot.
First of all, you got a hole in your pants. And you're not in the perfect spot because you've been twitching and moving.
Because I have a hole in my pants.
So that's I have a hole in my pants. Let's cut that out. You're not in the perfect spot. I'll be
Janet Jackson out here in a second. I don't want that for myself. God, dog. Back to there's people that actually post, right? There's people that post.
Don't disrespect me like that. Don't ever disrespect me like that again.
People that actually post.
You get these hands, young fella.
And then you can do it consistently and you'll make money. Or there's people like us that don't have the time to just sit and post all day. So they run ads. Organically, it's way better if you actually do it the other way. If you do it the good old fashioned, I'm going to actually post 3 times a day. Because literally, what's what it takes? You got to feed the monster. You have to. Or else you're not going to succeed. So you have to do it one way.
And the crazy part is, not the crazy part, the reality is that every single body before they do business with you nowadays, even ourselves, what's the first thing you do when you see a service, a business, or any type of person you want to
look them up?
You look them up. You go to their social media. You Google them. You see when's the last time they post. If they're active or not. Is this business? Because
it can't be a marketing company if you don't market.
Come on, let's talk about it. So if I go to see somebody's service that they are offering, I go to look at your business page and you haven't posted in 2-3 years, I'm assuming that business is out of business, right? Yeah. And that's the reality of it. So as much as we're talking to ourselves, we're really talking to you, because the idea is to learn from storytelling. Like, that's the cool part of what Trevor does. Why he's so amazing at what he does is that he could tell a story. And hopefully
cursed out this morning by a good friend. I'm calling names, brother. Kurt Rockmore cursed me out for the last week, talking about I need to continue to tell stories more and read this book and read that book. And he's right. He's right. But good Lord. But yeah, I'm a storyteller. But sometimes the consistency in which I tell my stories, is being accountable with you guys, is subpar, and the only way to do something is to be able to do it at a consistency and a volume in which the other people in your field don't do it, and that's what makes you stand out. And that's the only way that you can stand out in a landscape that's oversaturated. And I'm not talking about oversaturated content creators. I'm talking about oversaturation of just professionals in general trying to succeed in this market. That's what it is. That's what it is. If you're gonna do something, you got to do it at volume, and you got to do it consistent, and you got to have quality. You have to have all three.
So, that's the
I'm Trevor Jackson.
I'm Joe Nwoye.
This is the Hidden Opportunity Podcast. It's accountability.
I'm about to say, hold yourself accountable, please.
Because we're trying to.
Emphasis on trying.
It's only entertainment. Is this mic on? I hope this mic. Can they hear me?
Oh, did
Can
you
they
press
hear me?
record?
Stop. You see the red.
Did you press record? Did you just press it?
It's 25 minutes in.
Oh, okay. It's not the first time you didn't press record.